We live in an age of instant everything. One tap and food arrives at your door. A swipe right and a conversation begins. A text sent and a reply is expected within seconds. Attention has become currency, and silence feels like rejection. You're used to constant engagement, typing bubbles popping up, quick responses, likes, reactions, and instant validation. Your phone is an extension of your mind, always within reach, always feeding your need for connection. And then, suddenly, nothing. She stops replying. No texts, no calls, no explanations. You scroll through old messages, looking for clues. Was it something you said? Did she lose interest? Or worse, did she find someone else? Your mind spirals, searching for an answer. But what if her silence isn't a goodbye? What if, in a world that never stops moving, she's waiting to see if you can stand still? Modern dating has trained you to believe that attention equals affection, that the more someone texts, the more they care, that love is measured in frequency, in emojis, in fast responses. But real attraction, that's built in the unknown. Think about it. What is more powerful? Someone who is always available, always seeking, always reacting, or someone whose presence is so strong that even in silence, they remain unforgettable. See, a woman doesn't just disappear without reason. She withdraws to observe. She steps back to feel. She watches not what you say, but how you respond when the attention fades. Today, we'll dive into 7 points that will help you understand why a woman's silence isn't rejection. It's an opportunity. Most men fail this test. They panic, they double text, they overcompensate, they let fear dictate their actions, proving, convincing, chasing. But the moment you chase, you lose, not because she wants to reject you, but because she wants to feel if your presence is real, or just another illusion of modern dating. The strongest men in history were not the loudest. They were the most composed. They didn't beg for attention. They commanded it without a word. She doesn't want a man who crumbles under pressure. She wants a man who is so deeply rooted in his own purpose that no silence can shake him. Ask yourself, when was the last time you sat with discomfort instead of reacting to it? When was the last time you let her miss you instead of forcing her to remember you? This is the paradox of attraction. The more you chase, the faster she runs. The more you stand still, the more she feels drawn back to you. So the question isn't, why is she ignoring me? The question is, am I the kind of man who needs to be chased or the kind of man who naturally attracts? Because in a world full of men desperate for attention, the rarest one is the man who doesn't need it. Welcome to Power of Stoic Life, where attraction is not about reaction, but about mastery of self. Let's begin. Number 1, modern dating has made men weak. She's testing if you're different. We live in a world where instant gratification is the norm. A notification pops up and we rush to check it. A text goes unanswered for a few hours and anxiety sets in. Social media has conditioned men to expect immediate validation, likes, replies, attention. In this environment, patience and emotional resilience have become rare qualities, and that's exactly why women test for them. Most men today don't realize how weak they have become in the face of uncertainty. The moment a woman takes longer than usual to reply, they start spiraling. They double text, overthink, and replay every interaction, trying to decode what went wrong. They assume silence means rejection when, in reality, it's often a subconscious test. She wants to see how you handle it. Will you remain composed and confident, or will you crumble under the pressure of uncertainty? A woman's attraction isn't just about how you look or what you say. It's about how you carry yourself when things don't go your way. If your self-worth depends on her responses, she'll feel it. She'll sense that your confidence is just an act, easily shattered when she withdraws her attention. And the moment she sees that, attraction fades, not because she enjoys playing games, but because no woman can fully respect a man who loses himself the moment she pulls away. Think about it. In a world where men are constantly seeking validation, what's the rarest and most attractive quality? Emotional self-control. A man who is unfazed by the silence. A man who doesn't need instant reassurance. A man who trusts himself enough to know that his value doesn't change just because a woman isn't responding at the moment. This doesn't mean ignoring her or playing mind games. It means standing firm in your energy. Women instinctively test for strength, even when they don't realize they're doing it. If she texts less or pulls back slightly, she's observing how you react. Will you panic and chase her, or will you stay grounded in your own life? Look at the men who women find most attractive. They are rarely the ones begging for attention. They are the ones so deeply immersed in their mission, their purpose, and their self-respect that they don't have time to worry about whether someone texted back or not. Their energy is magnetic because they aren't looking for external validation. They create their own. Modern dating has made most men weak, desperate for reassurance at every turn. But if you want to stand out, you need to be different. You need to be the man who doesn't flinch when attention is taken away. Because when she sees that you are steady, composed, and completely unaffected by small shifts in her behavior, she won't just respect you. She'll crave your presence in a way that no weak man could ever make her feel. Number 2, the more you chase, the less she feels. In the world of modern dating, there's a pervasive belief that chasing someone is the way to win their heart. This belief is deeply ingrained, largely because of how the dynamics of relationships are portrayed in movies, TV shows, and on social media. Men are often encouraged to pursue, chase, and make their feelings known, believing that persistence will lead to success. But the reality couldn't be more different. In truth, attraction is not built through pursuit, it's built through presence. The more you chase, the less she feels. Think about it from a psychological perspective. When you pursue someone excessively, you're essentially communicating a message: I need your validation to feel good about myself. This neediness, however subtle, is sensed almost immediately by the woman you're interested in. Women, whether consciously or unconsciously, are highly intuitive and can pick up on the energy you're giving off. If your energy is one of desperation, she will feel that, and over time, it will undermine her attraction to you. The essence of attraction isn't about proving yourself or winning someone over. It's about demonstrating that you are a whole person, independent and self-sufficient. When you chase a woman, you inadvertently place her on a pedestal. You start to view her as something that you need to win, and that mindset shifts the entire dynamic of the relationship. Instead of two people meeting on equal footing, you've positioned her as the prize and yourself as the pursuer. This is when the attraction begins to fade. Women aren't attracted to men who need them to feel complete. They are attracted to men who are already complete in themselves. The man who stands firm, who doesn't constantly pursue her, is the one who catches her attention. Presence, not pursuit, is what creates lasting attraction. Think about the men who most women find irresistible. Do they chase? No. These men are busy with their own lives, their own passions, their own goals. They're not waiting by their phones for a text message or wondering if they said the right thing. Instead, they are doing. They are pursuing their own ambitions, building their own success, and cultivating their own emotional independence. These men don't need a woman to validate their worth. They are already whole. This self-sufficiency is magnetic. It draws women in because it communicates something powerful. I am enough as I am. Your love is a gift, not a necessity. The more you chase, the more you unintentionally show that your self-esteem is tied to her approval. And this is the key problem. Women, like all human beings, are drawn to people who show strength and confidence. The man who chases in desperation lacks these qualities. He's looking for external validation, and women can sense it. So what happens when you stop chasing? You create space for her to chase you. When you stop showing neediness, when you stop seeking her approval and instead become someone who is content on his own, she starts to wonder what you have that she's missing. Your absence creates intrigue. The woman begins to feel that the man who isn't chasing her is someone who has something she doesn't. He has strength, self-assurance, and a life full of purpose. This shift in dynamics is what sparks true attraction. At the end of the day, attraction thrives in an environment of tension and mystery, not in constant pursuit. The man who stands still, who remains grounded in his own life, is the one who creates the kind of magnetism that pulls her in. When you stop chasing, you stop needing her approval, and this is when she starts to feel something deeper: respect, admiration, and ultimately, desire. Number 3, her silence is not punishment. It's an opportunity. In the modern dating world, many men interpret a woman's silence as a sign that something is wrong. The moment she becomes distant or stops texting back as quickly, most men panic. They assume they've done something wrong or that they need to fix the situation. This often leads to over-texting, excessive reassurance, and flooding her with attention in an attempt to win her back. But what many fail to realize is that her silence is not a punishment. It's a test, and more importantly, an opportunity. Emotional dependency is a silent killer of attraction. When a man chases reassurance after every moment of silence, he communicates an underlying message. I need you to validate me. Without your attention, I feel lost and unsure of myself. This desperation is not only unattractive, but it also sets up a dynamic where the woman holds the emotional power in the relationship. Instead of growing closer, the gap between the two only widens. She feels needed but not desired, and the attraction begins to fade. The key to shifting this dynamic lies in how you respond to her silence. Real men understand that silence is not an attack. It's not a form of rejection, but rather an opportunity to show strength, emotional resilience, and independence. When a woman withdraws, it's a test of your emotional control. The man who gets anxious and begins to chase after her validation fails the test. He gives in to his fears, allowing them to control his actions. But the man who remains calm, composed, and grounded during her silence is the one who passes with flying colors. He doesn't need her to respond quickly because he's secure in his own life and in himself. This emotional self-sufficiency is what sets the strong apart from the weak. When you stop chasing and start focusing on your own growth, whether it's through personal development, your career, your health, or your passions, you create a powerful presence that cannot be ignored. Your actions speak louder than words. The woman feels your energy shift. Instead of needing her to validate your worth, you show her that your peace does not rely on her presence. This self-assurance is magnetic. As much as women desire attention and affection, they also crave a partner who can stand on his own, who is not swayed by every small shift in their behavior. When a woman withdraws, she is often trying to see how the man will handle the situation. Will he crumble, or will he remain unshaken? When you are unshaken, when you do not panic in the face of silence, it sparks her curiosity. She begins to wonder why you are so steady, so calm. She begins to question what she might be missing. The truth is, her silence is a reflection of her desire to see if you are truly confident in who you are, without relying on her to fill the gaps. When she realizes that you are not emotionally dependent on her, something powerful happens. Her respect for you deepens, and with that respect comes attraction. The more she sees that you can maintain your emotional composure and continue to grow, the more she will want to be part of your life. The opportunity lies in this silence. Instead of reacting with anxiety and chasing her to fill the silence, embrace it as a moment of personal power. Focus on your life, your goals, and your self-improvement. Build the life you want, and let her see that you are a man of action, not one who crumbles when the energy shifts. When she sees that her silence doesn't have the power to shake you, she will begin to crave your presence, not out of obligation, but because she wants to be part of your world. Her silence is not punishment. It's an opportunity to demonstrate your strength, your self-sufficiency, and your emotional maturity. And when you embrace it, you'll find that attraction isn't built in the chase. It's built in the stillness. Number 4, a man who lacks purpose will always be desperate. In the landscape of modern relationships, the most common mistake many men make is allowing their emotional needs to become intertwined with the attention and validation they receive from a woman. When a man lacks a solid sense of purpose, he becomes emotionally dependent on the woman in his life. He begins to place her at the center of his universe, hoping that her affection will fulfill him and his worth will be validated by her attention. But this dependency creates a dangerous cycle. The moment she withdraws, the man feels lost. He becomes desperate to regain her focus, and his actions reflect this desperation. Purpose is what keeps a man grounded. A man who is driven by a mission, by something greater than himself, radiates a different energy from one who is constantly seeking emotional reassurance. He doesn't depend on external validation to measure his worth because his value comes from within, fueled by his purpose. When you lack a clear purpose, you begin to rely on others to fill that void, and that's where desperation creeps in. This neediness, even if unspoken, is palpable, and women can sense it from a mile away. When a man's world revolves around a woman, his identity becomes too tied to her actions and reactions. If she doesn't text back immediately or pulls away emotionally, he starts to feel rejected and anxious. He starts over-texting, over-communicating, trying to prove himself worthy of her attention. This kind of behavior creates emotional chaos, not only for him, but for her as well. Women are attracted to stability, and when they see a man in constant turmoil over something as small as a text message, they begin to lose interest. Emotional dependence signals weakness, and women aren't drawn to weakness. They want strength, resilience, and a sense of purpose. Now contrast this with a man who has a clear mission. He's not obsessed with a woman's approval because his life is already full of direction and meaning. His focus is on his goals, his growth, his purpose, and this energy is magnetic. When a man is deeply immersed in his own mission, he doesn't have time to chase validation from anyone, including a woman. His worth isn't up for negotiation based on her attention or affection. And because of this, he becomes infinitely more attractive. He's not seeking to fill a void. He's content with himself. Women are not drawn to men who obsess over them, who make them the center of their universe. Instead, they are drawn to men who are so deeply immersed in their own mission, their own passions, and their own growth that their energy is focused elsewhere. This kind of man doesn't need to chase a woman because he's already too busy chasing his dreams. When he enters a relationship, it's not to complete himself, it's to complement his already full and fulfilling life. He doesn't seek validation from her. Instead, he offers her something far more valuable, a life of purpose and direction. If her silence disturbs you, it means you've made her the center of your world. You've allowed her emotional shifts to dictate your mood, and that's a sign that your purpose isn't strong enough to anchor you. When you become emotionally dependent on her reactions, you give away your power. Purpose is the antidote to this dependence. It allows you to maintain your emotional stability even when external factors, like a woman's behavior, change. The moment you refocus your energy on your mission and give yourself a greater sense of purpose, your entire outlook shifts. You stop obsessing over every text, every interaction, and you stop chasing her approval. Instead, you become the man who is too busy living his purpose to be affected by the ebb and flow of anyone's emotional state. This is the man women respect, admire, and are drawn to. When you prioritize your purpose, you not only build emotional strength, but you also attract women who respect you for who you are, not for how much attention you give them. Women don't want to be the source of your emotional fulfillment. They want to be with a man who is already fulfilled, focused, and driven by something greater than himself. This is the man who will never be desperate because he already knows his worth. Number 5, she feels your weakness before you even show it. In relationships, there's a silent language that speaks louder than words: energy. You may think you're hiding your desperation, that your neediness is well hidden beneath the surface, but in reality, a woman senses it long before it becomes visible in your actions. Your energy speaks volumes. She doesn't need to read your texts or see you in person to know when something is off. She can feel it in the way you carry yourself, in the subtle shifts in your tone, in the way you react to the smallest signs of distance or silence. A woman can feel your insecurity before you even consciously realize it. In a world where emotional intelligence is often undervalued, women possess a unique ability to pick up on nonverbal cues. They can sense subtle shifts in energy, the slightest change in your emotional state, and the undercurrent of fear or desperation that might be hiding behind your words. This heightened sensitivity is rooted in evolutionary instincts. A woman's ability to detect weakness or insecurity is crucial for her own survival and the survival of her family. In relationships, this translates to her need for a partner who is emotionally grounded, secure, and steady. When you act out of desperation, it's not just your actions that give it away, it's your energy. The moment you start to feel needy or insecure, your emotional frequency shifts. Even if you try to mask it with words or actions, your energy betrays you. Women are instinctively tuned into this energy, and they feel it even when you think you're hiding it. Whether it's in the way you obsessively check your phone, waiting for a response, or in the way you over-communicate out of fear of being ignored, she feels it all. This neediness doesn't go unnoticed. But what happens when she senses this desperation? She pulls away, not to hurt you, not because she's playing games, but because she needs to test something. Is your strength real, or was it just an act? In the early stages of attraction, women are often drawn to men who exude confidence, stability, and emotional control. They are attracted to the idea of a man who seems unshakable, whose energy remains steady regardless of the circumstances. But when they feel a shift in that energy, when they sense weakness, they instinctively pull back to see if you can stand on your own. This pullback is not a punishment, it's a way for her to protect herself. If a woman feels that you are emotionally dependent on her, she may wonder whether you have the strength to be a reliable partner in the long term. She needs to know that you can handle the emotional weight of the relationship without collapsing under pressure. Your desperation, your need for constant validation, undermines her sense of security, and that is why she steps back. But here's the critical lesson. Your reaction to her withdrawal matters more than you might think. If you react by doubling down on your neediness, if you panic and chase her to fill the emotional void, you'll confirm her worst fears. She'll see that your strength was never truly strong, just a facade. But if you stay grounded, if you stand tall in the face of her silence, you show her the strength that she was hoping for. When a woman withdraws, it's not an invitation to chase her more aggressively. It's a chance for you to prove that you are the man who can remain steady, calm, and composed. Your silence in the face of her silence speaks volumes about your emotional resilience. It shows her that you do not rely on her attention to validate your worth. You are not desperate for her approval. Instead, you are whole on your own, and you will not crumble just because she pulls back. She feels your weakness before you even show it. The question is, can you rise above it? Can you prove that your strength is real, that your confidence comes from within and not from her? If you can, you will find that she's not just attracted to you, she'll be drawn to you in ways that you never expected. Because the true test of attraction isn't whether you chase her, but whether you can stand tall when she pulls away, showing her that you are unshakable no matter what. Number 6. The most attractive men are unavailable, not ignored. In the world of modern dating, there's a concept that most people overlook. Attraction is rooted in availability, but not in the way you think. The most desirable men are not the ones who are constantly available, waiting by the phone for a response, or chasing after every opportunity to win a woman's attention. In fact, high-value men are often unavailable, but in a way that only heightens their appeal. They aren't being ignored, they're simply not accessible in the way that many men are. High-value men have full lives. They are dedicated to their careers, their passions, their purpose, and their personal growth. Their attention is not a commodity to be easily won or taken for granted. A man who is deeply immersed in his own mission doesn't have time to overthink every text, every phone call, or every interaction with a woman. He isn't constantly seeking validation or approval. Instead, he's living a life that is already fulfilling and purposeful. And if a woman is lucky enough to be a part of it, she feels privileged. This is the energy that draws women in. When a man is truly focused on his life's purpose, his sense of self-worth is not dependent on the attention of others, especially not a woman. This availability is what makes him more attractive. Women feel a natural pull toward men who are secure, confident, and busy building something important. His unavailability isn't a rejection. It's an indication that he is so focused on his own journey that he doesn't need anyone else to define him. It creates an aura of mystery, depth, and strength. However, when a man is constantly waiting for a woman's response or validation, it sends the opposite message. He comes across as needy, and his attention becomes something she can easily manipulate. This desperation is felt in the energy he exudes, and it pushes her away. The constant checking of his phone, the impatience for a reply, these are all signals that tell her he is emotionally dependent on her. This behavior creates a subtle but powerful turn-off. She feels the weight of his neediness, and instead of feeling drawn to him, she feels like he's emotionally too available. Women crave men who are comfortable in their own skin, who don't need them to feel complete. When a man is truly unavailable in the best sense, it makes his presence that much more valuable. He doesn't chase after attention because his life is already full, and that's why women find themselves drawn to him, hoping to be a part of something that is bigger than just them. This unavailability isn't a game, it's a reflection of the man's life, which is so full of purpose and passion that it's not dependent on anyone else's presence to feel complete. Number 7, you are not losing her, you are being measured. In relationships, there's a moment that serves as a defining test, the moment when a woman pulls back emotionally. It's the moment that separates weak men from strong men. Most men panic when they sense a shift in her behavior. They start over-texting, calling more often, apologizing unnecessarily, or trying to win her back with words. What they fail to realize is that this moment isn't about losing her, it's about being measured. Women, by nature, are emotional creatures. They need to feel that the man they are with is emotionally grounded, secure, and capable of handling life's challenges. When she pulls back, it's not a rejection, it's a test. She's not trying to hurt you. She's measuring your strength, your emotional stability, and your ability to handle the inevitable ebbs and flows of life. She needs to see if you are different from the other men she's known. She's looking for a man who doesn't crumble when things get tough, who can stay calm and composed even when she's distant. If you panic, if you chase after her, if you beg for her attention, you prove to her that you are just like every other man who lacks emotional control. Your neediness will show, and it will push her further away. Women don't want a man who is afraid of losing them. They want a man who is confident enough to stand his ground, even in moments of uncertainty. When you react with desperation, you reveal your weakness, and that weak energy is what ultimately pushes her away. But if you stay calm, if you don't chase, if you hold your ground and continue living your life with purpose and strength, something powerful happens. She will feel regret. She will begin to question whether she made the right choice by pulling away. And that regret is what brings a woman back. It's not your words that will win her over. It's the silence, the steadiness, the strength you show when she pulls back. A woman needs to feel that your sense of self-worth is not tied to her actions. When she sees that your emotional stability doesn't depend on her validation, that's when the attraction becomes undeniable. When you stand firm, living your life with confidence, she'll feel a deep, almost irresistible pull towards you. She won't want to lose a man who is so secure in himself, so sure of his purpose, and so unshaken by her tests. In the end, you are not losing her, you are being measured, and how you respond to her emotional withdrawal will determine whether or not you pass the test. Stay composed, remain grounded, and continue your journey with strength. It's that very strength that will bring her back. Conclusion. In today's fast-paced, emotionally charged world, the dynamics of relationships have drastically shifted. Men are often caught up in the cycle of chasing validation and seeking constant reassurance. Yet, as we've explored, the most attractive quality in a man is his emotional strength and independence. The key takeaway here is that attraction is not about being available at all times or begging for affection. It's about having a life so full, so rich with purpose, that a woman feels privileged to be a part of it. When you are unshaken by her silence, unbothered by her distance, you show her your true strength. As a man, it's crucial to understand that when a woman pulls away, it's not a rejection, it's a test. It's a chance for you to prove your worth, not through words, but through your actions. If you chase after her, you risk losing your power, but if you remain steady, grounded, and focused on your own journey, you'll ignite a sense of regret and longing within her. This emotional pull comes from a place of respect, admiration, and attraction to your strength, not your neediness. Remember, you are not losing her, you're being measured. Every woman wants a man who can handle his emotions, stand strong in the face of uncertainty, and build a life beyond her. This is the kind of man who will earn respect, attraction, and love. So, if you find yourself in a moment of emotional uncertainty, don't panic. Hold your ground, stay calm, and let your strength shine through. The path to lasting attraction and genuine connection lies in being unshakable in your presence. And if you're ready to continue learning how to become that man, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Stay focused, stay grounded, and remember that the strongest men are the ones who never need to chase.